What up? We're back. All Access Network exclusive interview. We have Coach Tommie Johnson, head coach at CSU Pueblo for the women's basketball program, coming off a huge victory, biggest in program in a long time to beat the number one team in the country. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you for having me, man. Just a blessing to be here, especially with you, knowing your story, where you've been, and, love to get to chop it up and talk basketball with basketball people.
No doubt. No doubt. We love it. We're excited to have you on, man. So take us back to last week. You had a huge victory, just started the season. You've been there building a program. So we'll talk about that next. But this win was a huge one to beat the number one team in the country, the defending national champs. Talk about that particular game and what that did for your team.
Well, for our team, man, it really just kind of confirmed what we thought about ourselves, and that's that not only can we compete with the best teams in the country, we got a chance to beat some of them. The girls were phenomenal in terms of their mental approach, and our assistant coach, one of our assistant coaches, Jaden Little, who you know very well, did a great job with his scout. That was game number 3 on the week for us. We played Wyoming on Tuesday, and then we had to follow it up with Friday and Saturday with two of the toughest teams in the country, and our girls never wavered. They never made any excuses. They actually look forward to playing those games. And for us, it was definitely a, a all time high to this point, but it's something that we put behind us very quick and ready to get back to work.
Ready to get back to it. Last question on that particular game. Was there a moment in the game when you're playing the number one team in the country? Was there a moment in the game where you knew like our girls are ready to they're ready to do it today. They're ready to take the next step. And it's one thing to compete in a game like
Right.
that. It's another thing to win a game like that. There's a lot of times we compete with the best, but to beat them really says you have to really be on your A game. So talk a little bit about that if you don't mind. And then what did that mean for you as a coach, knowing that you're building something and you're laying this groundwork, you're planting these seeds in them, but to see it actually grow the third game in the season, what is that like on a back to back?
Man, for us, it was just a really special situation. I mean, I thought from the jump ball, I thought, okay, we ready. Tamia comes out, she's on fire. Janiah Davis, they're all playing defense. Obviously, Alicia Davis is doing her thing, and when the defending two-time defending national champs, they made a run. Our girls didn't blink. Our girls didn't blink. They came right back out and they answered. And we knew they would make a run. And at that point in the second quarter, I knew we were for real. Uh, it was something to behold to see those girls grow right before your very eyes because you never know what's going to happen. You've been in this. You never know what's going to happen when those lights come on. Those lights came on, and our girls were ready to stand that test. And for us, just the support we've had from our administration and the students around here, it's been phenomenal.
Right. And you guys played another top 10 team the game before and played really well, took them to the wire in Texas
Mhm.
A&M Commerce. Talk about the player of the week. You got the player of the week in your conference, uh,
Mhm.
Miss Alicia Davis, transferred in. Talk about her and what has she meant to the program as a new recruit.
Well, you've been doing this a long time too. We all need to get that one.
Right.
We all need to get that one. We're not quite sure how we got them or if they're supposed to be here. And it was a blessing. We had a previous relationship with her. And what we offered here, not just as a basketball program, but as a university, is what she was looking for in terms of academics, social life, and then the basketball team. And so not only has she been good, she's been great in terms of being coachable. She wants to get better. She's shooting every day, getting in better shape. She's pretty dedicated to seeing what she can help us do here. So it's when one of your best players is your hardest worker, and she's super talented, just scratching the surface, it raises everybody else's level.
Yeah, talk about, if you don't mind, the recruiting relationship, not just for her, but at the Division 2. So many times people only hear about Division 1, but Division 2 doesn't get the same kind of celebration, which is part of why we're doing this interview. But you mentioned that you had a previous relationship, didn't
Mhm.
she end up coming back? So that relationship you built paid off for you later. Just talk a little bit about recruiting in general at your level and why you build those type of relationships.
Well, at our level, of course, nobody ever when they're 6 and 7 and 10, they don't say, "I want to go to the University of CSU Pueblo. You know,
Right,
they got big dreams, and I understand that. I was a kid. I'm from Dallas, so I wanted to go to UT, and
right,
we just made it to a point for us. We want kids to celebrate no matter where they go, and we leave that door open.
right,
Uh, it's hard sometimes being a second choice, especially when you know a kid fits.
right.
You know your intentions when you're recruiting a kid. You know you're being honest, and then sometimes they fall for the okey doke and they end up going someplace else. And for us, we just try to maintain an open door policy and leave everything on good terms, no matter what a kid may decide. But getting kids to understand this is a high level basketball as well. It's not just you don't just come down here and run through some JV teams. You got to get prepared. You got to get up to play, and having those relationships for us, and especially in the state of Colorado, is starting to pan out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear. You mentioned your staff earlier, Jalen Little being your assistant coach. Tell us about your staff and a little bit about what they do in your program.
Well, Jalen Little is obviously somebody you're very familiar with. He's the cream of the crop when it comes to assistant coaches right now for me. Very high basketball IQ, gym rat, watches tape. He's definitely been my right hand man when it in terms of just making me see sometimes the big picture. Uh, he's responsible for just about everything in our program, and also Shannon Patterson. She's newer. She's actually from Pueblo. She played here at CSU Pueblo and finished up at Mesa. She was player of the year out here in high school and took her team to a state title when she was a junior, and both of them are just they're just gym rats. They just workaholics. So, and they have great relationships with our girls, which I think is key when you're an assistant, because sometimes they don't want to talk to the head coach, and the head coach don't want to talk to them. So
Right.
yeah, they've done a good job of being the balance that we need.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Love to hear that. So, um, your time there, tell us a little bit about what it is that you set out to build when you got the job not too
Mhm.
long ago, and then where you're at now in that progression as you're building. Just talk a little bit about the culture, the inside of the program, what you're looking to establish.
Well, number one, we want to make this the place for girls basketball in Colorado, regardless of division. That was our goal when we set out to when we got this job, and of course, we got the job late in 19, and then in 20, COVID happens. So you always think, hey, we're just recruiting. For us, it put a little bit more urgency in what we were trying to build. So in order to do that, we need to get some great in-state talent, I think, and then couple that with some out-of-state kids. And so right now, I think we want to be a national powerhouse. In order to do that, you got to get kids that can play at other places, and so far that's what we've been able to do. Well, not just with Alicia Davis, but we got two other transfers I think that are, as far as the culture we're bringing, being super competitive. And Romola Dominguez and Tamia Johnson are about as competitive kids as you find at any level in college basketball. Both played Division One, and they brought that mentality here to us. So right now we're on the way to what we thought we would be, and we just need a couple more pieces. But I don't think this group is maxed out at all.
Right. And so many times people think that Division II is only for transfers. Do you still want to build a fence around some of the talent that's in the region and in the state? Or is it
Oh,
more about, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say absolutely, man. We I don't think there's any coach in Colorado who's watched more high school games than I have.
Wow.
Not one. And we can there's so many games we go watch, and I don't care if it's streaming or whatever. We want to hold to Colorado. We got a couple good young kids too. Tori Bass is a young freshman from Fountain Fork Carson High School, and then we got Deja Johnson, who's a freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. They both are going to be big parts of our program. So being able to get them to grow while we win, I think is best. So they understand this is about winning and maximizing. It's not just about playing games. We want to win.
No doubt. No doubt. Tell people about CSU Pueblo, the school. I mean, nobody, most of the time, if you're not in Colorado, and maybe if you're not in that part
Mm,
of Colorado, you don't necessarily know. You just kind of hear, you're like, what is that? So
yeah.
tell us about the school in general, if you don't mind, coach.
Well, first off, most people think Colorado ends in Colorado Springs, and there's nothing else after that. So we're about 30 minutes south of Colorado Springs, man. We have a beautiful campus. We're based on balance. We have everything that you could look for in a college town as far as the community here is super supportive. You drive around town, you see CSU Pueblo banners everywhere. our games, our women basketball games every night. We're going to have between 800 to 1,000 people. The little kids here, they go crazy. They looked at our girls like they're WNBA players, and uh, it's super supportive here in Pueblo. I think that's the one thing that I would like to put out there for people to really understand is we have a super supportive university. Our AD, Dr. Paul Plinski, has gone out of his way to give us everything we need to be competitive and include our community, and they back us 100%. And of course, that's it's just one of those places you got to come see it. Great facilities, top-notch facilities. So we're on our way to doing something special.
I love it. I love it. Last two things. So you as a coach, tell people about you as a coach who don't know you. What's your coaching style, your philosophy? What are you setting out to do as a head coach leading the program? And then we'll end with a funny story. Any funny story you got from either
Oh
playing days,
man.
coaching days, family, whatever you got. But start with telling us about you as a coach, if you don't mind.
Me as a coach, I'm pretty much you get what you see. There's no hiding. There's nothing different about me. We both know coaches that were, on October 15th or October 1st, depending on your level, they totally different. And that's not me, man. I think part of my mission, part of my goal, and because of my own journey is to help these kids just be raised and understand how powerful they are, have tons of confidence to graduate, to go out into this world, to do
Right.
special things, to be leaders of their family and in the community. So that's pretty much what you get every day from me. And then the basketball is just a hook to get you to come in so that we can
Right.
get you to do bigger and better things. So I'm sarcastic, I'm funny. I try not to take myself too serious. And sometimes our girls, they look at me crazy when I'm playing that old school music, but it is what it is, and we have a good time here. We do.
So what's the old school music you're playing, Coach? That may lead into the funny story. What's the old school
Hey,
music?
it depends on the day. Well, first off, my girls need to understand music. I'm playing TLC one day, and they don't know who TLC is, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting old. I'm getting
Wow.
old. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, we go anything. Michael Jackson, TLC. Some of the new stuff I'm good with, although everybody they like got baby in their name, but it's all
Yeah.
good.
Very true. Very true. Well, we'll
Yeah.
let you end with a funny story, Coach, on anything you got, or even just a good moment you want to share within the program.
You know what? I think for me, there's a ton of stories, but I think a, a a great moment I think was I'm gonna have to go back to probably my first win as a head coach because that's always probably number one in my book, and it kind of defined what we wanted to be. We were down big in the fourth, and we end up taking the lead, and we end up fouling with like 8 seconds left, full court for no reason, and they go to the free throw line, and looks like they got a chance to win, and they miss, and we go to overtime and win. And I think right now for our girls, we have a ton of kids that have overcome adversity. They're super strong and powerful and confident, and yeah. So that first win has probably dictated who we are right now.
No doubt. No doubt. I love to hear it. And first win against the number one team, I would imagine, just happened. Take
Yeah.
us back. Last thing. Take us back to what was it like after that game, after getting that victory?
You know what? It was something special to go into the locker room and to look into all those young ladies' eyes after they wet me and Coach Little up like there was tomorrow. Luckily, I didn't have my cell phone with me, but they gave us a water bath. But to see them, all their hard work pay off through the conditioning, the off season, 7 a.m. weights and all that, it it was phenomenal. But the best part of that was the way they put it behind them, and they expected to win. They expect to be good. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I got a quick comment here on the live stream from Jason Burton. He said he got spot.
Hey, you tell that dude, man, we just trying to be like him. It's funny because you and your brother, I'm older than you guys, but he's definitely somebody I look up to. I
Yeah.
think he's a great man. He's a great leader, and the basketball stuff aside, obviously he's done some special things there. But just taking some motivation from him and being in his ear whenever I can, man, it's a blessing to have the circle that I have.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Best of success the rest of the way. Obviously, we'll be rooting for you from afar,
Mhm.
and keep breaking records, man. Keep doing historic things, and we look forward to watching you do many more great things. And any last words you have, you can please share before you go.
I just want to say thank you, man. Just like I said, knowing your background, you coached at a very high level, and thank you for having us. And hopefully, it won't be the last time. And everybody out there, come check CSU Pueblo out. Go
Yep,
Pat.
no doubt. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you. Have a good day.